Okay, I started recording now. So today we have a very important topic, as a DBA role, the most important job as a DBA role, we have, what we cover initially, we cover basic administration task, how to install database, how to create database instance, what is the difference between database and database instance, okay? And we talk about some basic object like table, how to create the table, how to alter the table, right? So we also know in the previous lecture how to install Windows operating system, how to set up environment. So this we did. So now today we will cover a database security. This is also very important. Database security and backup and recovery. This is the very core responsibility of database as in operation department. Okay. So database security and database backup and recovery we will cover today. So I just wanted to start, when you join some company, in the first day, they will give you database access. When they give you database access, they have to create user for you, right? They will maybe, I just wanted to, because this is very important thing. So first we will start the database security. So in database security, if you see here, we have server and server under server, we have SQL software. Server can be Windows operating system, and we have SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server software. Under software, we have database instance. Okay. So I just, I will not take 2 minutes, only just revise what you know already. I just, give you a basic concept. So in database instance, we have more than one databases. These databases divided into two. One is the system databases. I put DBs, and one is the user databases. Okay. System databases, when you install SQL Server, this is the by default system databases which manage your user databases. System databases by default created during installation. These databases major task is to manage user databases, and user databases which you created based on your requirement, right? So when you done this exercise, now you have to, for example, in under one database instance, and you have DB, you have 20 databases. Okay, under one instance, for example, you have 20 SQL databases. That means maybe you are running 20 application using the same different databases. So it is one-to-one relation, In architecture wise, we have one DB connecting to one application. One DB connecting to one application. You got me? You got me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for example, if you join one company, they have one SQL Server environment setup. And under this SQL instance, they have more than 20 applications, 20 databases. So each database can be possible. Each database have own separate application. So maybe 20 people are managing the databases. This can be possibility. You can say developer, also DBA. Okay. So forget DBA, you have 20 developer, they are managing application. Okay. So developer, when he develops some application, he always communicate to the database, right? So he need to insert data, he need to create the other object like store procedure, functions, other object. So developer always doing something on backend. Okay. So if he face some issue, so he always approach to DBA. if he face operation issue, he will approach to DBA. If he has some development issue, he will fix himself, right? So if you have 20 developer, you will not give system admin user to developers. What it mean? Because if you give system admin user to 20 developer, what they will do, they can see and do any task on each database. Okay, so this is not, this is not right approach, because one developer working on one database, he should have one database access, right? He will not have other databases access, right? Any question?
No.
Yeah. So you got me. If you have 20 developer, they wanted to log into the database, and each developer have own database, right? So this we need as a DBA role, our responsibility is to grant him specific database access, right? We cannot give him all databases access, right? Maybe he will destroy other developer application. Possibility, right? If he has some access, he can view the data, he can read the data, he can write the data, he can export the data, he can do what he want. If we give sysadmin privileges, right? So this here is the security. So what is the best approach? What we will do, we create 20 SQL user for him, for all developers, right?
Okay.
20 database users. This is the first option, option 1. You remember we talk about the authentication model of SQL Server. There are two authentication model. One is a SQL Server level authentication, and one is a Windows-based authentication, right?
All right.
So if we are using SQL Server-based authentication, we need to create 20 SQL database user for 20 developers. Okay? And we can grant access to specific database. Okay? Not all. Right? This is the option 1. And second option, in the big company or medium companies, they are using Windows-based authentication. Because why? I give you example, option 2. When you join company, they will create your account, Active Directory account. Or if you don't know Active Directory, you can say your email, company email, right? Right? When you join some company, they will create your email address, right? For official communication, they will create your company email. So this company email basically is the AD account, is the Active Directory, Windows Active Directory account. So forget about Windows Active Directory, you just see company email. Okay. So for example, we have 20 developer, I can take five developer, for example, 5 developer. So the company will create 5 email addresses, right? And after creation of email, they will allow to each one SQL Server permissions. So in the option 2, they will not create any database user, because they already created company email, okay, and they will allow this email to access the SQL Server database, right? You got me?
Yes.
All right.
So mostly company, they are using actor. You can say 99% company using the option two. Okay, and 1% they are using this option. Okay, so mostly in the software house, it depends which company. If they have software house, they are developing some application, may they require database level authentication for developer, right? But if you join some company who are already working and they have many applications running in their environment, they will not do this approach. They will give you access on your account, office account. So when you log into your office account, then you can log into the SQL Server. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the basic, the basic understanding why we use the what is the definition of security? What is the security? Why we need? I repeat, if we need to uh, revoke or grant permission specific users, let give little demo, you will understand. So let me connect to, okay, so before demo, so there is some term you have to just remember or understand. One is a login, and second thing is the user, and third thing is a roles, and fourth thing is a schema. Okay, so these four terms, I just go one by one. Okay,
All right.
so for example, you install the SQL Server. Now you want to access. How you access? Using SQL Studio, right? So when you access the SQL Studio, it will prompted you username, password, right? Either you can
Yes.
use Windows authentication or you can use SQL Server authentication, right? But
Mm-hmm.
most cases, when you log into the studio, it will automatically take Windows login. Okay, so you can authenticate. For example, if you go here, SQL Studio, I think I opened already. Yeah. If you connect here, see, it will ask you if you choose the Windows authentication. I log in to my user in this computer. It will by default allow me to log into the database instance because this user have privilege to log into this database server. Okay, so here we always use two type of authentication: Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. So if we connect this one, so we can connect to the database instance, right? So login mean I put in slide, here. So if you see my slide, SQL Server, we have two type of authentication, which is a SQL Server authentication, which is a Windows authentication, right? Under this role, we have database users, we have schemas, we have roles, we have logins, and we have secure and permission, secureable permission. This we will discuss all today, and you will learn. I will go step by step, hands on, and you will learn. So if I talk about logins and users, you can see the difference. Login required to access the server, right? Logins, this is very important definition. In the SQL Server, we have two type of user. One is the logins and one is the users, right? Logins we use for to access the server. For example, if I connect here, I need to log into the database engine. I need to log into the database engine. So I can use a Windows authentication, and this Hayat is a login. It is not a user, it is a login. You got me?
Mm,
When
yes.
you connect to the database, if you go to security, you will see here my login. My login is this one. This is my login, right? When we go to any database, for example, sample DB, any database, inside the database, we have users. You got me?
Yes.
So the user will have access of the database, login will have access of the server. This is the difference between user and login. Okay? If we go to the database, under database, go to the security, you can see these are users. These are users. You see here, these are users. If you go to the database security object, if I minimize this one, this is the database object. This is the instance object, database instance object. Under instance, we have all these are object. So we have two type of object. One is a login, one is a user. User under databases, login under database instance. Okay. If we go here security, so the what is difference between, I mean, why, this database instance login you can use anywhere, for any database. You can use for any database. But in the database user is only specific for the database. You can use only for this database. If you have one database and this user like Hayat DBA, this is only for sample DB, right? This user is not for other databases. But in the instance wise, this login is for all. For all. So login is, if I summarize, login is to authenticate the server, user is to access the database. Okay?
Okay.
Any question? No? For user and
So
database?
the logins user,
Yeah.
are they like a super user, or are they just the user at the SQL Server engine level?
That's right. That's right. And database, the user is for database level, right? So each database can have own users, but login is generic. It is for all database object, right? You can give permission based on your requirement, right?
Okay.
So I can give you example. First, I complete these definitions. Uh, Yeah. So login and user, you got the concept, right? And I will give
Yes.
you a demo. Roles basically collection of permissions,
Privileges. Permissions.
permissions and privileges. So what it mean? For example, in your company you have 100 people, right? And you need to give them one same permission to all users. One same permission to all user. So there is two way. One way is you can go each user to give specific permission to each user. I give you example. If you have 100 users who are accessing the database in different roles, okay, different task, okay. So for example, user one need select permission, select, alter,
Insert.
connect,
Mm.
okay, insert. So for example, these 100 user need these such of permissions, right? So
Right.
there is two way. First way is you can go one by one and give one by one permission to everyone. Okay. So it is difficult. What you will do, you create one role. Okay. And you can
Yes.
assign this role to all 100 users. It is easy, right?
It is a yes.
Yeah, this is the difference. Because if you want to go with the first option, you will go each user, then you go to the privileges, then you give alter, connect, insert one by one. It takes too much time, and it is not, the best practice, right?
It's not practical. Yes, it's
Yeah.
cumbersome.
So this is the role. And then we have schema. You know,
Before you
okay.
move to schema, so that means when you create a role and you give that role to those 100 users,
Yeah,
let's say if one of the user leave the company, you
yeah,
just remove his name from the role.
that's it. That's it. Right. You can just revoke the role. That's it. He
From
cannot.
the okay.
Or you,
Mhm.
and you can revoke the role, or you can disable his account.
His account. Okay.
Right. So best option is to disable his account.
Okay.
So we will see how to disable account, and how we create role, and how we create login, how we create user. Today we
Okay.
will learn, step by step.
Okay.
So the schema, basically, when you have enterprise application, you don't you are not thinking they have only one table or two table or three. Maybe they have 5,000 table in the database, right?
Yes.
For example, I give you example. They are using one Blackboard application. Blackboard application, right? This enterprise application for student, right? They can attend the class, they can schedule the class. So Blackboard is the enterprise application for student. Like desire to learn, we have another one, D2L. So there is different type of application, right?
Okay.
So we can say, I will take Gmail, I can take Yahoo, I can take Microsoft, when you access the Microsoft website, they have a SQL Server database in backend, right? All
Right.
information coming through the database. So maybe Microsoft DB, SQL DB have 6,000 tables. Can be possible, right?
Right.
So maybe they have billion record in the table, million record, billion record, trillion records. So So in Microsoft company or any company, there are department, right? One is a HR department, one is a finance department, and one is a employee. Uh, you can say SCM, supply chain management. So each company have different. One is a IT department, right? So different department,
Yes.
right? So so why we use schema? Schema we use to divide the object such a way to do proper administration, right? For example, IT people, we have, we create IT schema, okay? So related to IT employee, we put all their data in IT schema, right? So SCM,
Right.
we create SCM schema. So supply chain management department people under SCM schema. So we can divide the object, we can divide the tables. Okay. So if we, why we need this? Because to maintain the data integrity and security. Because if, for example, in IT department, we have 10 tables. Sorry. We have 10 tables, 10 table object. Okay. So if we, if we give the permission table to each employee, it will take a lot of time, right? You go to each table, you give permission, right? And you also maybe forget this table for which department, right? So best approach is to divide object based on department wise, to more get more understanding, this table for what, right? And if you want to allow or grant or revoke the privileges, it will be easy. For example, you have 10 table and you create test schema, IT schema, and IT schema, you can define your security policy, right? It is easy. You can just apply in this schema, this security, it will apply on all tables, right? So this is the basically combination of the object, okay, under one schema. So we will see how
So
to
the
do it.
schema, is the schema like a storage, is a database object that store other database
No,
object?
is a logical object which keep the table or view other object, dividable.
Okay.
Dividable. For example, in one database, you have 100 tables, right? So
Yes.
10 table for IT department, 10 table for SCM department, 10 table for HR department, right? So you will move HR table to HR department, HR schema, finance table to finance schema, IT table to IT schema. So it will easy to do basic, to do administration. So when you need any data from IT perspective, you just go to IT schema. You will not search where is a table, right?
Right.
To do better administration, so it divided into schema to more secure the data and more easy to find the object based on department, right? Because
Okay.
see, in the enterprise application, you will not have one application. Maybe one application embedded with the embedded with the sub applications like Oracle e-business suite, right? In Oracle e-business or any finance application or any student information system, you have many modules, right? One module for HR, one module for for finance, one module for student, one module for others, right? Like that, right? So, for example, if your company run the payroll, so they will work with the HR module, right? When they have
Right.
some balance sheet or some financial transaction need to see, then the finance department will work on finance module, right? They don't care about other modules, right? So each
Right.
department have some dedicated jobs and tasks. They will work on specific tasks with the specific requirement. Okay. So for
Okay.
example, I have this database. First, I will go to create the user. Before creating user, we create one role, right?
Right.
If you see here, if I go by default, this is my data. I mentioned here one thing more important. See here, this is SQL Server
Okay.
security. This is a server level, and this is the database level. This is a granular.
Yes. Okay.
There's a
Fine grain.
hierarchy.
Yes.
Yeah, fine grain. So you have server
Mhm.
level access, then you have database level access, then you have schema level access, right?
Right.
So if you go server level, it includes databases as well as all object such as logins, server role, availability group, and all, right? If you go database level, then it includes schemas such as database user, database role, right? If you go schema level, then you have included such as table, views, functions,
Store
store procedure.
procedure. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So if I go here, if I create one user on the database, on the server level, login, right?
Right.
Or we can create first the role. First, I will create one role here. If we go to security, before creating, I just give you a little overview. What is the by default role coming with the database? By default, right?
Okay.
So if we go to any user, I can go to any user. I will go to my user, this one,
Okay.
which is a server user, which is the sorry, I will
Logins.
login, not user. This is a login. You just keep
Logins.
in mind, this is a login. So if I go to
Yes, sir.
login, go to the property, you see here server roles. By default, these are roles. By default, when you install SQL Server, you will find these roles, except one. This I created. SQL role I created. right?
Okay.
Except other SQL role, all are the server role by default created in SQL Server during installation. Okay.
Okay.
So most important role is sysadmin. Most important role
Are
is
these administrative roles?
no, sysadmin mean you can do anything on the database server. You can play with database instance, you can delete, create databases, you can do anything what you want.
Okay.
So this is not recommended to give anyone sysadmin role. This sysadmin role is for DBA only,
Okay.
who can work in the database server and database instance and everything, backup and disaster recovery and high availability. So this system admin role is for DBA, not for others.
Not for others. Okay.
Okay. So if you go, for example, if you want to give server admin, so server admin will do some specific task related to server, right?
The server. Mm-hmm.
So the most important is sysadmin user. Okay. For example, I will you find this one. So
Yes.
these are server roles by default. So if you
Okay.
go to the second tab, user mapping, you will see these are databases. These are databases which I have in the database, right? I have
Oh,
byte
yes, the
store.
system and the user databases. Yes.
Yeah, this is the both system and user, all databases.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You see here, default schema.
What does DBO means?
Yeah. Database owner.
Okay, database
Okay.
owner.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will tell you here on the schema. By default, by default, in SQL Server, we have two schemas. One is the DBO, one is the sys. DBO is for user object. DBO is for us. When we create any object, this will by default created under DBO schema. You got me?
Yes. Yes.
When you create any object in the database, by default, it will create through DBO schema, under DBO schema. Okay.
Because when we created the tables, you asked us to create the table and insert data. Next to the table, it came with DBO.
Yeah. So by default, it coming with the DBO schema. I will give you an example, real
Okay.
time. And for system object, because when you install the database engine, you will have system databases, right? And you have system object, which is not related to user, but they maintain the user databases object, right? System object, system databases maintain the user object, user databases. Okay.
Okay.
So by default, when we install the SQL Server, we have DBO and sys, both schema. Okay.
Okay.
So if I go here, the property again, I don't want to make confused. Just keep in mind, by default, we have two schema. When we install SQL Server, one is a DBO, one is a sys.
What is the sys? Okay.
Okay. So if you see here, if I if I go to one database, test database, I select this one. So I told him this user is the owner of this database. You see here,
Okay. Yes.
who can access this database? This user. Okay. And
Okay.
we can tell him this is the default, this is a using default schema. If we have another schema, we can go with this. There is many by default schemas, but mostly we have sys and DBO. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I will show you. So we can restrict privileges. We can, for example, we can say test DB1 user is this one, and we need it is a member. We allow him to create database,
Okay.
or we can make DB owner. If we want to
Oh,
give this user read-only access, mean we want to give this database access to this user, he can connect to the database and he can read only information. He cannot change. He cannot write. You got
Okay, you can only select.
only select, right? So I will go one by one. First, we create the role, custom role. Okay. If I go
Okay.
here, right click here, I put here, this is a server roles. Okay. I
Yes.
will put row SQL role, role 2. Okay. So if you see,
Okay.
I need server roles. I need to grant this. If I select this one server role, you will see here, I create one role and I ask him to go with the server role. Okay. And in server role, if you see here, there is the permissions,
Yes.
alter, control, take ownership. See here. So this information, this is the explicit permissions.
Okay.
Okay. See here. I can go with the default configuration. Okay. Here, you see here, I can tell, okay, we will not give, we just create the role. That's it. You will see.
Okay.
I created one role. Okay. Now I'm going to create login. I'm going to create login, not user. If I create one login, is a database user. Okay. So I choose the SQL Server Authentication.
Okay.
So I put password, any password. I remove the password complexity because if otherwise you have to put complex password, right? So
Okay.
I just remove this one. And if I go to the server role, you will see here, we created this role, right?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you will see here, by default, these two role created by ourselves, right?
Yes.
Other all role is a system server role. So if I go here, user mapping, second tab, you see here, I tell him, I grant him test DB1 user.
Okay. I see. Mm-hmm.
And I also tell him by default is a public, so public. So if I go to click OK, in the searchable, if you go to searchable, you can see the all object. It doesn't matter. Don't go there. Don't make you confused, right? So
Okay.
just go to server level role and user mapping. Okay. So because we are creating login, we are not creating user. Okay. So
Okay.
if I click OK, I created this user. Now I need to test I can log in through this user or not. Okay. SQL user 2 password. I can connect, right?
Okay.
But if you go database, you will see the all databases. If I go to the test DB, if I want to create one, you can not see any table. You cannot see any table in this database.
Okay.
See, other databases you cannot access because you created role granted to only this
Oh,
database.
to only test. Okay.
So you cannot access any database. You find here.
Yes. Yeah, got it.
If you create table, you cannot create because you don't have create access.
Access. Okay.
We give read only, right?
You get all. Yes. They can only select. Yes. That's true. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we create one role, we give some permission, collection of permission, this role, and now we need to create user. This is the database user. See here, DBO and sys. By default, these
Yes.
users. So we create here. Here you see, this is the username. So I put SQL user.
Yes.
Okay. And here is the login, which we already created, right?
Yes. Mm.
So we need to map this login, which I created this one, right? SQL user 2. And here is a schema. So we will go with the default schema. You can go to the ownership of schema here. See here, I can
Yes.
put read and write. Or
Yes.
if you want to make owner, you can make owner to this database. Okay.
Okay.
And then membership is here. We can make DB owner. And if you go to searchable, you will see all object, object mean tables, right?
Table. Okay.
Table, views, functions.
View.
If I go to
Function.
table, because we don't have access. If you see here, we don't have any table. So I just go with this option and we will go with the one clean example again. See, I cannot create because I don't have permission.
Permission. Yes.
I don't have permission. So what I do, I disconnect this user. I go to my user which have permission to the database server. I go to the role. This role I created, right? I go to
Right.
the membership. I tell him DB creator.
Okay.
Okay, so he can create the DB. I can tell him set up admin. So you can give the
Okay.
permission based on requirement, because this role is important when you are designing new database, right? Otherwise, as a DBA role, you can use the default role, right?
Right.
I just give you example for this. For example, I need to create one user, SQL DB1 user, SQL login. I put login. Huh? This is the login, not user. So I put login.
Okay.
If I go to server role, I have already roles, customs. Mostly, for example, I use sysadmin
This admin. Yes.
or I use DB creator only. He can create
Okay.
DB, but he cannot do anything. For example, I will
Okay.
not choose any role. I will go with the default option, which is a public.
Public.
When you create user without any role, by default, role is a public. Okay. So I create
Okay.
user.
Okay.
I put the password here. This is the SQL user, right? So enforce this one and okay. If I go to this property, this user, this login, you will see in the server role, you have only public role. I will remove this
Yes.
one.
And
I don't
delete
want
it.
because I put this one. By default, when you create user, it will go with the public role. Okay.
Okay.
Click OK. So now I need to connect to this user. I can connect, right?
Okay.
But I cannot do anything. If you go here, you cannot open because you don't have permission. You can connect only. That's it. You cannot do anything, right?
Right.
So again, I go to this user, I give permission. Server role, DB creator. You find here. Or
Right.
I give system admin permission, sysadmin, for example. Okay.
Okay.
If I can refresh this one, I can open now. See here. I can open. Before it was not opening, right?
Yes. So now that he's the system administrator, he has the system administrator role, he can open the other database.
He can do anything. We can do anything. So this is not recommended to give system admin privileges to one user. I will give you example now, clean example. I
So we
create.
use the principle of least privilege. We only give you what you need to do the job.
That's right. For example, if I create one more user, or user we have already logged in, right? This user.
Yes.
So I create database, new database, test SQL role. Okay, this database I create.
Okay.
If I click OK, so I created this database, right? Then I go to the user, login. I can take maybe this user, go to server, go to public search user mapping. You see here this user, this we created, right? In this database, I can by default is a public. C is disabled. You are not authorized to do anything. It is disabled, right? If we give the system admin role, even we cannot, because this user don't have privileges, right? So first we
Right.
need, yeah, first we need, let me disconnect this one. This database, this created, which this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we just tell him this is your account. Okay. I
Okay.
remove this one and I select this one. I give him
Give him
writer,
the writer. Okay.
or you can give DB owner. So we said
Okay.
DB owner mean he can do anything on this database,
On this database. Okay.
but other cannot do anything.
Okay.
Okay. If I click OK, now I log in. What was the password? Yeah. I can log in. Now, if I log in here, I cannot, right? If I
Yes.
select here, I cannot. But if I go here, I can,
I
right?
can. Okay. Yes.
So you give him, you create one user and give him permission for only this database. When he log
Okay.
into the studio, he can see uh, only his database.
He's an
He can,
object.
yeah, his database, not other databases.
Okay.
In one developer who's working on this database, he need to see, he can see anything in this database. He is owner of this database. He is not owner
Okay.
of other databases, right?
Right.
Makes sense.
It does.
Any question? Other people all quiet. Linde, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So everything that you're doing on the Object Explorer, can you also do it on the command line?
Yeah, you can do. For
Okay.
example, if you can, for example, I create user.
Yes.
Create, login, login name,
Login name.
test
Okay.
user 3 with password is equal to test 123. It will create user.
Okay.
If you go Object Explorer,
Okay.
this is a login, not user, right?
Yes. It's right there. Test user. Test user 3. Okay.
See, I did not put any permission. I just say create one user. By
Yes.
default, when you create user, it will give the server role public by default.
Public. Yes. Public. Okay.
So based on your requirement, you can assign the role.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So another question. So as a DBA, you can manage like the 20 database at the time, but the developer, you will only give them access to one database at the
Yeah,
time.
what they ask.
Okay.
Mean in my company, I have 10 developer. They have 10 application, right?
Okay.
And we have one SQL Server database engine. Under one database engine, we have 20 databases, right?
Okay.
So each one have own access. So we need to give privileges on specific database. We will not give sysadmin privilege to everyone. They can destroy other work.
Okay.
So this is a security. You know what you need, you have to give. What they require,
Okay.
what they need, you have to provide. You cannot provide everything. If I ask one thing from you, you give me 10 things to me, it is not good for you, right?
Yeah, it's not good policy. Yes.
So you are responsible. For example, as a DBA role, you should have sysadmin. You can go anywhere in the database engine, right? But other
Right.
people, we need to restrict them. You have, for example, object level. No, we go server level, we define role. For example, I have this table. If I go to the database, for example, I go to this database, sample DB, okay, and I go to user security, I go to SQL user 1, go to property. This is a database user, not a login, okay?
Yes.
If you go to
Mm-hmm.
this database user, you see here searchable, right? Securable. If you go to
Yes.
securable search, okay, you can see all table object, right? So if I go to
Yes.
the table, I think I log into which user, because this user don't have privileges. I need to log into, this is, no, it should be, there is no table. Mm, yeah, there is a table, right? Okay. So I go to this database, then security, then user, and I see I have permission here or not. Okay. So I put DB owner for this user.
Okay.
Okay. And then I go to click OK, then go to property again, membership. I can
Membership.
uh, own DB owner, we put membership. We can DB owner, we can go to search now. We tell him, see here, I put the select. He can
Yes. Mm-hmm.
select
You
only.
can read. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So here you can put the object. See, I put the one object.
Specific object. Okay.
If
Mm-hmm.
you go here, go table, you see all table. You see here?
Yes.
So I give him, for example, info table. Okay. Okay. So info table is here. Okay. And I can give him, he can only select, right?
Yes.
He cannot delete or
You
insert or
cannot
something.
insert.
I give you
Mm-hmm.
example. I click OK. So SQL user 1. If I go to this database, it was sample DB, right? Oh, I don't have access for this. Okay. This server login, we need to give access, from the server side.
Okay.
It was which user? SQL 1, right? This user.
Yes.
We have public only. Sample DB, right?
Okay.
DB owner.
Need to give in DB owner. Okay.
Okay. What is this? Current or user one already exists in the current database. Okay. Why user? I think we created many user. Let me drop.
Mhm.
Even I cannot drop because I log into which user. This one is Hayat, right?
Yes.
This user server role makes this admin. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I makes this admin. Then again go user mapping. I map the sample DB owner, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's already have. I don't know. Maybe I have a user with the with in database. If you go this database, you see maybe this user already there. That's why.
Okay.
This user is there already.
Okay.
If we go to this user, so we give him only one object, right? He can select only info table, right? He
Right.
cannot see other tables. So if we go to this user, this one, SQL user one maybe, right?
Right.
Okay. If we go to this database, sample database, table, oh, I give him privileges full. This was the database, right? Sample.
Yes. Sample.
SQL user, I give full privileges, maybe just admin, right? So then he can do
Yes.
anything. So
Admin.
we
Yes.
need to revoke this permission first. SQL user one, server, remove this. Okay. So here we can refresh this one. Go to databases, sample, I cannot access, test. No, okay. Test role is accessible only because this user have test role only. Let me check
Okay.
this user. If we go to this user, security, login, SQL user 2, our is SQL user 1, right?
Yes.
This
Yeah,
one, yes.
this is a very important part of this course. I don't know whether I can take a brief summary. I think 1 or 2 persons came late. I don't want anybody to miss this part because this is what you must do, and you must do it like daily. Please,
Yeah.
if you can kindly just rebrief it for those who came late, it would really be nice.
Yeah, because I'm just waiting for any question or something, because this is a very important part, as I mentioned, this is very important for DB. So you maintain the security of the user and all. So what you
Yeah,
want, yeah,
maybe you just relook again at what actually is a rule, what is a user, what is a login, what is the relationship between them. When you create a user, how do you map it to a login, and why you must map it, and those things like that, the privileges, all those, so to just put it together in one small package.
okay. So you want me to repeat again?
If you don't mind, please. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. So as he mentioned, in the down, because this, as I explained, there is security and backup and recovery is a very important. And security, we talk about to allow user to give access to the specific based on requirement. I give example, if you have one database, if one database instance, under one database instance, you have many databases. So each database owner may be different, right? because different application. So as a DBA role, this is your responsibility to allow only user based on their access level. For example, if you have 10 developer, you have 10 databases. So each developer should access only respective database. He cannot see other database information in the database instance. Make sense?
Yes.
So you always maintain. I will give you a live example, because theory is okay. So I just delete some users which I created earlier, or we can create new user. So I also, mentioned there is 5 things very important. We have login, we have users, we have roles, we have schemas. So login mean you need to log into the server. This is the first thing, right? User mean this is only for specific database. User, when I say user, that means it can work only in one database. When I say login can work for all databases. Login can work for all databases. User can work for specific database. How? And then we talk about roles. Roles mean we can create one, the role, and it is a collection of permission and privileges. For example, we have lot of privileges requirement for lot of users. We cannot go one by one to give the select permission, alter table, a different type of permission. So it is easy for us to create one role, bind all permission which is required for user day to day. We create one role, custom role, and we can assign this role to any user based on requirement with the same privileges, with the same permission, right? You got any question? For example, in the database system, we have, I disconnect this one. So here I open the studio. I have database engine. I want to connect to database engine. To connect database engine, I need SQL login, not user. I need SQL login. So first I will go with my sysadmin user and I go to security. I create one login. If I create one login, I put mark because I have a lot of user. Mark 1. I'm going to create a user which is SQL Server Authentication. I put the password. I enforce the password policy. I can put any password. If you go server role, these role by accept these two. Server SQL, let me delete first. Oh, sorry, what I did. Okay. First, I need to remove old role because I don't want to make confuse. Okay. This is a custom I created role, so I can remove. So I just go to user login, new login. I put mark 1. I put the password. Remove the password complexity. If I go to server role, this is by default role when you install the SQL Server. Mostly people using this. DBA using always these role. He don't need to create any custom role. Because custom role, if you want, this is a such new requirement. If there is some new requirement or they wanted to create you as a DBA role, new rule, then you can create based on requirement. But mostly we use the default server rule. Okay. So by default, it is a public. I will not do anything. I just create user and I click OK. So I created one user, which is the mark 1. I can connect to this user. Mark 1, password, connect. I connected, see here, this is the Mark 1 user I connected. If I go to the databases, I can see all databases, but I cannot do anything because I did not give any permission. If I click here, I will get error, right? I just give him permission. I just created user and give him public permission. He can view the object, but he cannot do anything with the object. If you select anywhere, he cannot, he can see here, he can see only Mark user. You see here, his user he can see only. And if you see here, you have many users, right? But if you log into this user, which created public user, you can see only 2 user, Mark 1. As a user is by default, you can see only Mark 1, right?
Right.
So because you don't have privileges, if I give this user system admin privileges, you will see no. This one, if I give server role sysadmin, click OK. Now you refresh this one, go to security, you see all users. See here, because now you have sysadmin privileges, right? Even you connect to Mark user, but you can see all users and you can see all databases. If you go any database, you can do that. So it is not recommended to give the sysadmin role, right?
Right.
So I will disconnect this one. I will go here. I change Mark user, server role, remove sysadmin. I will say create, only give DB creator. I will not give sysadmin privileges. I just give DB creator. You will see here, when I click OK, I connect to Mark again. If I go here, I can create database. I can create database, right?
Right.
I can delete.
Yes.
If you go to security, you cannot see other users. See here, you see only your user, right?
Okay.
When I give sysadmin to this Mark, he can see all users, what you have. So this is a security. You will work with your user. You cannot see other user information, right?
Right.
So if I go again, the Mark user, I tell him in user mapping, work only with the DB, this one. Okay? Work only this DB, and I give the DB owner. And in server role, I remove DB creator.
Okay.
In the user mapping, I said, okay, this is the DB for you only. You can work only with this database. You cannot touch other databases because this is not for you. This is for other application, right? If I click OK, I make DB owner and click OK. If I go in here, refresh, which was DB? This one? Test DB1, right?
Yes.
Okay. If I go there, table, you can see here table, right? If I go sample, I cannot. Because my account is, Mark is only owner of this database.
Yes.
He cannot work with the other databases. This is a second level. This is a server level and database level we give permission. Now, again, if I go to Mark, user mapping, searchable. You can also restrict here. You see here. You can just tell him, okay, you can alter only database. You cannot delete database. You can create, but you cannot delete. You got
Okay.
me? You can, based on requirement, you can restrict him from here. Okay. So this was a login based access. If I go to the database now, the test DB create database user now. We play around with the login, right? Now I'm going to the database, security, user. I create user here, new user, username, mark 1, and login which we created, mark 1. You can put mark 2 here, no problem, right? Because this login, this is the login and this is the user. There is the difference, right?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
You go here, browse, you will see the mark here. I choose here. Okay.
Yes.
Then if you go to the schema, in the schema, I said, okay, this user or DB owner, okay, and membership. This is the database role membership. This is not server role. This is the database role membership, right?
Yes.
If you go to the searchable, you can go to search specific object, object type, you go table, browse, you see one table here.
Yes.
I added this one. So I can restrict on table level. So I can tell him he can delete, he can insert, he can alter. You got
Alter.
me?
Mm.
I can deny him. I can deny, he cannot alter, he cannot delete, he cannot insert, right? So based on requirement, we can use the access level, okay? Any questions so far? Mark, any question?
No questions, makes sense.
Okay, very good. So if I put the slide, we talk about server level, we talk about database level access, we talk about schema level access, okay? So if we
Okay.
see here, so this we create login, we create user, okay? And we create role, this we cover, right?
We did.
And this, now if you have any question regarding security, you can ask me. So just keep in mind, if I summarize, because next topic is also very important, is the backup and recovery. So I just summarize, as a DBA role, this is your responsibility to maintain the database security. To maintain the database security, you need to give access what they requested. You cannot, because lazy DBA, they always give sysadmin to everyone to avoid support ticket, right? You got me? When you give sysadmin privileges to anyone, he can do anything. So this is not recommended. This is not best practice. You have to give what they want. If they have one database, you have to give DB owner only to that database, not all databases. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah, because I see in my experience, some lazy DBA, they don't want to get some complaint, they just go to database and give sysadmin privilege to everyone. So they can do anything what they want. Okay, so this is not best practice. So security, I will also give you assignment on security, how to do that. Okay, so when you go through assignment, you will learn more. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for example, I give you, okay, you create one user login, then you can create one user and or vice versa. You can create one role, and role you have to assign this server role to that role. Then you have to create login. Then you have to create user, right? Then you have to create database like that. I will give you assignment. You will go through. Then you will get more idea. Okay.
Okay.
Mark, any question? Mark is there, right? Okay.
Yes, I had. What did you say?
I said you make sense because we cover, security part, and we talk about in detail about the user management and server role, login, and the custom role, user base role, system role, schema system, user base schema. So what I said, I give assignment for this, to go through all what I did. You have to go through one by one, so get more understanding.
Yeah,
So next topic is the backup and recovery.
that's fine.
Okay. So as we mentioned, the backup and recovery is most important part of the DBA job, right? The security was also most important, but more than security, backup and recovery is most important part of the DBA job, because mostly when you join some company, they already have security roles and responsibility, and based on business policy, they already have the security. They are maintaining the security, right? So when you join the company, the backup and recovery is your core responsibility. You have to do that. When there is, why we use backup? Why we use backup? This is the, if some corruption happen, user for this corruption can be difficult. It can be corruption on the application. It can be corruption on the user mistake. Maybe he deletes some data, or he do some such activity which is creating problem in the database, because mostly user errors creating by developers, because they are doing development. User error, malicious activity, for example, some antivirus, the virus attack on the system, on the database engine, maybe due to that some file corrupted, right? And fourth, I mentioned disaster recovery. For example, if there's some disaster comes and data center crash or went down, or you are not able to recover, so in such cases you need backup, right?
Right.
So backup is very important. For example, you are running one online application and something went, wrong. Some developer or some any software engineer or some user mistake, they did some, they delete some data, and they ask you as a DBA role, could you please recover our database? So this is a major DBA role. So if DBA said no, I cannot recover, so that means he will lose the job, right? He have to have recovery procedure. He have to have recover the database based on user request. If he said I don't have backup, I am not able to restore the backup, then he will 100% lose the job if data is critical, right?
Right.
Just 1 second, I just reply one message.
No problem.
So, so you know what is why we use backup, right?
Yes.
So each company, each organization, they have some own policies. So backup and recovery, for example, they have online databases. They will say, we need this backup for this time. I mean, for example, they said we need backup, daily full backup, or different type of backup, they wanted to maintain. So they define one policy, which is called backup policy. Based on policy, DBA responsibility is to maintain their policy, right? So the major, in backup and restore, this is the business rule. If you see, the business rule is, for example, you are DBA, they ask you, we have new application deployment and we have many databases created on the database server. So you have to take backup. Okay. And first question, you will ask them, okay, what is your recovery point objective? I mean, how much data we
Are you ready to
prepare
leave?
to lose, right? This is the first
Right.
question as a DBA you can ask them, right? And second question you will ask, what is the recovery time objective? How much time do we have to recover? For example, database is crash 8 o'clock, right? So based on policy, within half an hour, you need to make database up and running, right?
All
So,
right.
so this is a recovery time objective. So this is also policy, enterprise level company. Okay, we can lose data for 15 minutes and we need recovery within half an hour.
Okay.
So this is the business policy. So when you join as a DBA, you can ask them, what is your the business policy rule for the backup and recovery? So they can share with
Okay.
you, okay, we have this RTO, this RPO, okay, so we want to maintain our business policy based on these rules, okay. So this is very important. So and also one point also in the I will mention SLA. SLA is a service level agreement with the customer. For example, they have the company providing professional services to some customer, right? So, and for example, we can take any cloud service provider like AWS or Microsoft Azure, okay, or any company, they have SLA with the customer. Okay, we cannot afford downtime 1 hour in a year. This is a policy. If more than 1 hour our database is down in a year, we will charge you such amount. Okay, or they because based on the basic implementation of the any application, any database, any IT work, okay, you have to have SLA with the customer, agreement, mutual agreement. You do for us, we do for you. Did this, we did for you, we will do for you, right? So based on mutual agreement with the company and customer, this is called SLA. It's a service level agreement. If someone breached the SLA, he has to pay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So in the backup register, we have different type of backup. We can copy the data file on the same on the different location. We can take file snapshot. We can take database snapshot. We can take built-in backup, SQL native backup, third-party backup. There is a different procedure, different method to take the backup. Okay. For example, big company, they have implemented in-house different backup, solutions. Maybe they are using Commvault, they have some software to take backup, and third party. Third party mean which is not related to Microsoft. Okay. By default, when you install the SQL Server, there is Microsoft recommend backup procedure. If you follow the Microsoft backup procedure, this is called native backup method. Okay. If you face any issue while taking native backup, you can ask Microsoft to help you. They will help you. Okay. If you are not, if they are not using SQL native backup, they are using third-party backup solution. So you are not authorized to ask Microsoft to help you, right? So mostly company they use the native backup method. Method backup which Microsoft recommend. You got me? Which Microsoft recommend, because SQL Server product is from Microsoft, right? Right?
Right. Mhm.
So there is different type of, we will talk about SQL native backup in this course. How to take SQL native backup. Okay. This is the best approach, best recommendation from Microsoft. So this native backup is a DBA job. Okay. And this third party backup is not DBA job. It's a system admin job. It's a backup admin job. Right?
A question.
Yeah.
So the third party backup, that means they are asking someone else to do the backup for the company.
No, they maybe, yeah. See, I will give you example because this is very important. If you have SQL Server product, Microsoft, right? Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft have native backup method. Okay.
Okay.
So if you use Microsoft SQL Server, this method, Microsoft will give you support. Another hand, if you are not using native backup, right? If you are not using native backup, then third party mean some company, they made integration
Okay.
with SQL Server to provide you backup
Okay.
and restore. Okay. For example,
Okay. Mhm.
EMC company, they have Legato Networker. This is a Legato Networker have own SQL module. This is not from Microsoft. They have own SQL module. So this
Okay.
SQL module connect to your database engine and it will take backup and keep it somewhere else.
Okay. I got it.
Okay. And then you have Commvault. Commvault. This is a backup solution provider. If you have databases, you can use third-party backup solution. Mostly people using, big company, they don't want more backup headache and restore. They can use the third-party backup solution. Okay.
Okay.
So in SQL Server, because we talk about the native backup, which is the best recommendation, in SQL Server, we have major three type of backup: full backup, differential backup, and third, we have log backup. Okay. Before starting this backup, we have some recovery model in the database. if you see here, when I create new database, test DB 3, if I go to the option, you will see this recovery model. You see here,
Yes.
if you drop down, you have 3 recovery model.
Okay.
So before recovery model, I give you little overview. You have one database, test DB. You are inserting some data into the database. Okay.
Yes.
How it will process? You are open, for example, if you open the Gmail account or any account, and you can, when you log in, it will authenticate to database, and you compose one email and you send, right? So when any data come into the database, it will come to the log file first. I told you in basic architecture, right? The
Yes.
feature log
Mhm.
file.
Each transaction is logged in the database. Mhm.
Yeah, log file. Then there is some checkpoint in the database. Processes. It called processes.
Okay.
Okay. So these processes running in interval. Okay. So when checkpoint run, what it will do, it will load the data to the data file. Okay.
Okay.
It will load data, all transaction coming in the log file. When checkpoint happen, it will load to the data file,
The
right?
data. Right.
If we have recovery model full, okay, I'm talking about full recovery model, okay? If we have recovery model full, this one,
Yes.
what it will do, it will checkpoint happen, it load the data to a data file, and it will keep one copy of the data in the log file as well.
Okay.
You got me?
Yes.
For example, if your data, for example, someone delete one table, okay, this table deletion happen in the data file, okay,
Okay.
but you have this table history in the log file,
Okay.
and you can recover easily from log file. You can reload from log to data file again, and you can recover the data, right?
Right.
But only in full recovery model.
Okay, does that, so it means in full recovery model, you have like 2 copies, one in the
Yeah,
data file, but one also in the log file.
that's right. So mostly what we do, we take log file backup in interval.
Okay.
When you take the log file backup, it will clean the log file. It will take backup, okay, and it will clean the log file to reuse. You got me?
Okay. Yes.
Because if you will not take the log file backup, this file will grow, right?
Okay.
Maybe your DB size is 10 GB and your log size become 100 GB, right?
Yes.
Because you are doing all operation in the database file, right?
Yes.
And log file keeping the history, right? So the DBA job is to always take the backup of log file. Okay, when you take the backup of the log file, your log file size become 0, empty.
Okay.
Then you can use this log file. Again, it will it will reuse, it will clean, then it will creating again new transactions, right?
Right.
But when you have some disaster to restore, you need log backup, right?
Yes.
Because you already took backup. After taking backup of the log file, it become clean, right? Now you
Right.
need to take again backup. You need to take, you can restore from the log file, right? So that means if you have full recovery model in your database, you can restore database point in time recovery.
Okay.
What it mean? For example, you took backup at 8 o'clock, okay? And full backup, okay? You took full backup and someone delete the table. Okay? If someone delete
Okay.
the table, you can restore the table point in time if you have recovery model full. Right? So just I summarize, full recovery model best, any production database, you have to have full recovery model. Just keep in your mind. And full recovery model, you can restore database any point in time recovery if there is any disaster or there is any crash happen or something, user mistake, deletion the table or table the data, okay?
Okay.
Second, we have simple recovery model. Simple recovery model mean you cannot do point in time recovery. But how it will work? You have database here, database test DB, going to any transaction, going to the log file, right? Log file, then checkpoint happen, then it will write to the MD file, data file, okay? In
Okay.
simple recovery model, your database, your transaction log is empty. It come when transaction comes into the log file, when checkpoint happen, okay, it copy to the data file, right? And
Right.
it clean the log automatically. So if you
So there is
want,
no copy left
there is no copy left. So you
other
can,
than the one in the data file. Mhm.
that's right. So what you have in data file, you don't have anything in transaction log.
So does that mean in case of a crash, you will lose data?
You lose data, 100%. You lose the data. Okay.
Okay.
So this is not a recommendation for production databases. You can
Okay.
do for test and development databases, but you cannot do for production databases. Production database should be full recovery mode. This is the point. Okay. And
Okay.
third we have bulk recovery model. Okay. This is similar to full recovery model. Okay.
Okay.
But difference is when you make bulk transactions, for example, 1,000 transactions, 1,000, you are inserting 1,000 transactions, okay? Or you are doing a bulk operation, right? Only bulk operation will keep in the log file. Other single transaction will not store in the log file. You got me? You can see only data, bulk operation copy in the transaction log. Right?
Okay. Does it mean you have to wait for a certain number of transactions before you can copy them?
Yeah, right. It will take certain number of transactions. It will not take all the transactions.
Okay.
So in the production, we will not recommend to go with this. We always recommend to go with the
The
full
full.
recovery model.
Because I was just about to say, if it's waiting to take the bulk of transaction and a crash happen, I mean, we're losing that data again. We're losing those data.
Yeah, right, right. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to choose in the production. I just put in slide, all the notes. We have full recovery model, we have bulk recovery model, we have simple recovery model, right? So what is the full recovery? You can see here, all transactions are fully logged. What I said, right?
Yes.
The log file grow until cleared, right?
Yes.
Transaction log backup needed. Allow point in time recovery, right?
Yes.
Data is critical and you want to minimize data loss, right?
Right.
You need the ability to do point in time recovery. You are using database mirroring. We will see, for disaster recovery.
Recovery. Yes. Data
Yeah,
recovery.
yeah. Some cases you have to have full recovery model. Without full recovery model, you cannot do database mirroring. You got me?
Yes.
So advantages, what is the advantages on full recovery model? Database log can be backed up, point in time recovery can be implemented, data can be recovered to point in time very close to a disaster occur time point to minimize data loss, right? Which I
Right.
explained, I mentioned here. So this is a scenario, I put scenario. Critical business data stored in the databases. When you need full recovery, when critical business data stored in the databases, right? Data with very high security requirement, which if lost must be retrieved to the greatest extent possible at any time in all cases, right?
Right.
And very little data loss is acceptable in the event of disaster. But if you lose all data, it will not be acceptable, right?
Right.
So point in time recovery of database is required, database recovery per page required. So these are all options. So at the end, if I summarize, full recovery model for all production databases. Second, we have bulk log recovery model. You see bulk operation minimal logged, the log file grow until cleared, transaction log backup needed, and some point in time recovery. Little we can do point in time recovery, but not like full recovery model, right? We can recovery only for the bulk operation, right? Bulk operation, for example, bulk import operations such as BCP, bulk insert and insert select, which I mentioned. So these are bulk operation. Then we have simple recovery model. Simple database log backup cannot be implemented. Data based on simple model cannot implemented. Data can at most recovered to the last full backup which you have, right? You cannot make recovery from log file because there is nothing in the log file, right? So any question till now? So we have three model. One is a simple, one is a full, one is a bulk. So for production, we use always full recovery model. Okay. So I put some example, 10 o'clock and 12, mean a full backup was performed on the database. 4 o'clock, a differential backup. We will talk about different backup. We will learn how to take backup and how many type of backup we have. Okay. So this is only for recovery model. You have to think about recovery model in the database. We have three recovery model, which is a full, simple, and bulk. Okay. So You have any question about recovery model, full, simple, and bulk? You have any question? Hello?
No, I'm good. Or for my part, I'm good.
Okay. So no is the real thing, you know, we talk about recovery model. No, we have three type of backup in the SQL databases. Okay, one is a full, one is a differential, one is a transaction log backup. So I just explain you what is the difference. Okay, full backup mean full database backup. Okay, full database backup, right? You are taking log backup and data file backup, full database backup. Okay, differential mean from from last full backup. Differential backup is from last full backup. Then we have log backup. This is the log backup. I will explain, you know, I give you example. Log backup, log file backup. So for example, you are taking weekly full backup based on policy, right?
Right.
You have 1 TB database size and you have following business policy backup plan. Okay, what is the backup plan? You need full backup weekly, then daily differential backup, then every 15-minute transaction log backup. Okay, this is your business policy. You are taking weekly full backup, daily differential backup, and then you are taking every 15-minute transaction log backup. Okay, it can be saved on the disk or tape library. Okay, so for example, you are taking at 10 p.m. taking full backup. Okay, Friday. You are with me? Then daily differential backup at 12 p.m. 12 a.m. Then every 15-minute T log backup, transaction log backup. Okay, you got me?
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
No, go ahead first. I can ask the question later.
Okay. So if you take 10 o'clock backup, for example, your database crash. On Monday, 8 p.m. Right? You have three backup, 1, 2, 3 backup you have, right? 8 p.m.
Right.
Monday, database crash. So which number of backup you need to restore point in time recovery? First, you need Friday full backup, right?
Right. Mhm.
Then plus you need Sunday differential backup,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And then you are taking differential backup every 15 minutes, right? The log
Yes.
backup.
Transaction backup. Yes, log. Mhm.
Yeah. Then you are taking every 15 minutes. So after differential backup, all T log backups.
Okay.
Then you can reach point in time recovery.
Time recovery. Mhm.
Got it?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah. So this is
So
a,
my question.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Tell me.
No, go ahead. Mhm.
No, no, please tell me.
Okay. So my question is the daily differential backup is the backup that only takes the change for the day. So
From,
after we
yeah.
take the full backup, like we took all the changes, everything that happened in the database on that Friday at 10 p.m. So now, beginning Saturday at 12 a.m., so we only take the transaction that happened between that Friday and that Saturday.
Yeah,
So every day we add the transaction.
this is a very good question because mostly people said differential equal to incremental. This is wrong in SQL case.
Okay, Haya, can I say something?
Yeah,
Okay, now let me. Haya is putting it very detailed. Let me summarize it in my own kind of layman's way.
Okay.
Each time things are happening in your database, the data is saved in the data files. Keep this in
Yes.
mind. So everything is okay. We're gonna have a problem only if the database crashes. So what do we do to resolve this problem? We have to keep a backup of this data somewhere else.
Yes.
That's what they call database backup. Now, this is a challenge that we have. I have my database I've been using for over 5 years, a lot of data inside. And I'm afraid that this database may crash one day and everything, I'm going to lose everything. So I take a backup of this data and keep it somewhere else. The problem now is the data, the current database I'm using is not always the same with the backup that I've kept.
Yes.
So how do I ensure that as things are happening here, I should be transferring the changes to that backup so that at any time, if this database crash, I go to take the backup, it should be up to date. In order to do this, that is where now we come in with these 3 backup sets strategy. You back up the whole database every weekend. Well, each time you back up the whole database, you are satisfied.
Yes.
So you take a full backup. But when you take a full backup and back it, transaction activities will keep going on.
Yes.
You cannot be backing up database every day because if it's a large, of course, for small databases, you can back it up every day. But for large databases, you cannot back them up every day.
Yeah.
So what do? I'm not going to back all the database every day. I'll back it once a week. So maybe weekend, as you put it Friday or Saturday or Sunday, when there are low activities. Then every day, I'll back only the changes that have occurred since my last backup because it will be small in volume.
Exactly. Okay.
And in addition, each time, and now because I've been backing all the changes, I can't be backing changes every second. So I'll back those changes maybe every day, once every day, I'll back those changes. But I want to still keep track because, okay, yes, I'm backing on my database once every day, and the changes have occurred, plus my full backup. I mean, I can have everything. But what happens in between 2 backups on a day? I'm still going to lose something. So
Yes.
the transaction logs now will be keeping those activities that are happening between the differential backups. That's why they take it every 15 minutes. This is not fixed, but you can, because you can, depending on as you rightly put it, depending on your recovery objective, whether it's RPO or RTO.
Oh, RTO. Mhm.
So you can put 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes, depending on you. But going to making it wider, you're causing yourself trouble because you can easily lose data.
Okay.
So it's not like your backup your transaction. No, yeah. And each time you take a transaction backup, each time you take a differential backup, all the transaction logs before that are useless. Okay, listen again to me.
Okay.
Once you take a full backup, all differential backups that you have taken before that are useless. And then from then on you start taking transaction logs, differential logs and transaction logs. But once you take a differential log, all transaction logs that you took before that differential log are useless. So for you to get a complete recovery, you need a full backup, the last differential backup, and the transaction logs that have come after the differential backup. Okay, thank you, Ayad.
Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation.
So incremental backup, as mentioned, we need full recovery, we need last full backup, and then we need last differential backup, and then we need transaction log backup from last differential backup, right? So when we take full backup, all previous backup finish, we can, for example, some cases you need this one. For example, someone ask you, I need database before 1 month back. And he gave you a time. I need this time database point in time, this time. For example, he asked you before 30 days, I need Monday 10 o'clock database should be available. So based on your DBA, based on this method which we explain, you need last backup, then last differential backup, then from last differential to onward transaction log backup till when he required, till time when he required. Okay. So this was, any question? Any question there? Or I can. So we can take backup one, just for example. Any question about full backup, differential backup, transaction log backup? Any question? No question.
No, I have no question at this time. But if I
Okay.
have, I will ask.
No problem, no problem. So what I do, I will take one database backup, right click, go to task, backup. So here is a discovery model, a recovery model, a backup type. So first you need to check your database recovery model before starting the backup, right? If you go to the database property, go to the option, you will see here recovery models, right? We can go with the full recovery model, and we find our database in full recovery model, we cancel it. We go to here, task, backup. There is a 3 level of backup: full, differential, transaction log. So first we'll go with the full backup, okay? Before starting this, you have to create, you should know where you want to store the backup, right? So I create one folder here, backup test folder, okay? This is my backup location. So I go here, I said, I want to keep full backup and I want to save here. And my full backup file name, I'm taking sample DB name .bak. BAK mean full backup. BAK mean full backup. So click OK, hit enter, OK. You see your database backup is completed because there is nothing, very small. If you go to the folder, you will see your backup file is created here. You see here, right?
I'm lost a little bit. Can you do it again? Maybe with another one.
Okay, no problem. We can take again.
Okay, okay.
In
It's
first step,
especially when you create the file, because I'm noticing that
okay,
the
first
information
step,
is
first step,
outside the database.
first step, you need to
Mhm.
create, you need to choose where you want to save the backup, right?
Okay, yes.
In your computer. So
Okay.
if I go here, C drive or D drive or where you want to save the file, right?
Oh, okay.
So I can create one folder here on my computer.
Okay.
So which I created, test, backup test, this one.
Okay.
I will remove this one. I will create again, okay?
Okay.
Now I know where I need to store my backup, right?
Right.
So first step, I need to check my database recovery model.
Okay.
For this, go to property, go to option, see it is full.
Full. Okay.
By default, when you create the database, it is a full recovery model by default. Just keep in mind.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so close it. Now I'm going to take backup. Right click on it, task, backup.
Back. Okay.
Remove this path because we need to choose our custom path where we want to save, right?
Okay.
If you go here, you have three type of backup. Full, differential, transaction log, right?
Okay.
I go to full backup and I go to the path. See, destination, backup destination. You can
Okay.
you can put on the public URL. Like if you have in remote locations you want to keep copy, you just put the URL. It will save backup on remote location. If you don't want to save on your disk, you can choose the path where you want to store, right?
All right.
So I will take on my disk, backup type, add folder. I created this folder, right?
Okay. Yes.
So under this folder, I need to save what is my database name? Sample DB. So this is the
Sample DB.
sample
Okay.
DB dot BAK backup. So in the BAK mean is the full backup.
Full backup. Okay.
Okay. Backup done. Full backup done.
Okay.
You see here, done. Now I need differential backup. For example, I will create one more table.
Okay.
Just created one table extra.
Okay.
This is what I create, yeah. Anyway, just I create one table. Now I need to create differential backup. Backup, choose differential, remove this path, add again. I put sample DB dot differential DIFF.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, okay, done. Now I need transaction log backup. Add this one sample DB dot TRN transaction log. If you go to the folder, you will see 3 different backup. This is the backup, full backup.
Yes.
This is differential, and this is transactional log backup, right?
Right.
So check the
I have
size.
another
Check
question.
the size of the
Size.
backup.
Okay.
If you see here, this is a bigger full
The
backup.
bigger, yes.
The differential backup, see the size is 2 MB.
Yes.
And transaction log, it is 368 KB.
Exactly.
So
So my
this is,
question is
yeah.
this going to be automated, or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to come
No,
every
you,
time and do it?
I will tell you, you can make automated process.
Okay.
How to do that? We have here agent, SQL agent. SQL job, maintenance plan, right? See here?
Yes.
Or you can create the job. If you see here agent, where is this agent?
SQL Server agent.
Yeah, this one. I need to start the service. So SQL Server agent is a scheduler. You can schedule your job based on your requirement.
Okay.
So if I go here, job, I will create new job. You see here,
Oh.
you can schedule job. But I will do the best way for you because you are new. So go to the
Okay.
management. If you go to management, backup
Backup.
is a master. Okay. Maintenance plan. I went to maintenance plan, right? Yeah. So you have to go to maintenance plan, management, maintenance plan. Right
Yes.
click, new maintenance wizard. You see here.
Okay.
You can put full backup, F backup.
Okay.
So here you put schedule.
Oh,
see
you
here?
pick the time and the date. Okay, I see.
Yeah, see here, schedule.
Yes. Change. Yes.
So I need weekly backup, full backup. Every 1 week, I prefer to have on Sunday.
On Sunday. Okay.
At 12, you can see the time here.
Yes.
Okay. And occur at once in a week.
Okay.
Okay. Then I need next. This is a schedule, right? It's selected schedule.
Yes.
Next, it will ask you, you want full backup, differential log. I said
Oh.
I need full backup.
Okay.
Next. He will ask you, you want all databases or user databases? You see here.
Okay.
User database mean excluding system databases. You see here, master, model. And
Exactly.
so
Okay.
you can go based on your, you said, okay, I need only this database.
Okay.
I will take 2 databases backup. Okay. So this is the destination where you want to keep this. You see here, I want
Yes.
to keep database backup here. Create subdirectory. It will create each database folder separate in this drive.
Okay.
So I said backup extension should be BAK by default, full backup.
Okay.
Next. So I said, okay, if you send me, keep log, backup log, okay? When the backup job finish, you will get the log file in the backup folder to see yesterday backup was happen or not. Okay?
Okay.
Next. Finish. Job is created. Now, if you go to property, this is your schedule, right?
Right.
So it will run on Sunday this time. Okay, sometime you want immediate to run, right? So right click
Right.
and start. If you go to folder, you see it created folder name. See here?
Oh, yes.
See, I selected 2 database backup and it created 2 folder, each database separate folder. You remember I choose create subdirectory.
Yes.
So it created, see here, backup, full backup. So no need to go one by one. You can create one job for all database.
Okay.
So same thing you can do again for differential backup. D backup. So I will say I need daily. Okay,
Yes.
1 o'clock maybe. Okay. I need differential backup, right?
Right.
So I'll say, okay, I need only 2 databases. So mostly you always select this option. Okay. So I said, okay, destination. I said, save my backup here and create subfolder
Subdirect.
and extension put, because this is differential, right?
Yes.
I can say, okay, create log file for me under this folder. I will show you log file. Huh? Finish.
Okay.
You go here. See, this is a log file, full backup log file. You see here what is happening in
Yes.
backend. This is your query. If you copy this query, T-SQL, you know, if you want to take T-SQL backup, this is your backend query happening. You see here, backup this
Yes.
database to disk here. So if you copy this and paste there, it will run.
Okay.
So this is your T-SQL. So if you see here, we have 2 backup. We run the backup? No. Here is coming, right? No. This one we took, right?
Yes, these are the one we took in the beginning.
So we need to run, right? This one. Differential, right?
Yes.
Done. If you go here, you have 2 backup now, right?
Okay. Yes.
So you have weekly full backup and daily differential backup, right?
All right.
And same thing, you can schedule a third job for transaction log backup. T log. I said daily, I said occur every 15 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 2 minutes, just for testing.
Okay.
T transaction log backup. Destination. This is very important, huh? Destination. If you don't, you just browse here. TRN by default. See,
Okay.
create subdirectory. Next. Okay, I said keep file my here. Huh? This log file later you can review, right?
Okay.
No, I will not run. We can wait for some time. Okay, it will run automatically. We don't have transaction log backup here, right?
Yes, we don't.
And we schedule the job. So we can wait for 2 minutes. It will run automatically.
Okay.
Every 2 minutes, every 2 minutes.
Every
So,
2 minutes.
yeah. So this was, I will, I put example here. Weekly full, nightly differential, and hourly T-log backup. You see here?
Okay. Yes.
And you can also use the query to create the backup. I put some query, if you want to take any backup transaction log, this is the full backup, this is the transaction log backup, and this is the differential backup.
Okay.
Okay, but mostly use Studio, people using Studio. But if you want to use the Studio T-SQL,
Mhm.
yeah, so you can get query from there. You can see here, it's coming, right? It's come.
Yes, it's there. Yes.
So,
Transaction log. 2 minutes went
so if
by.
I summarize, you are taking full backup on weekly basis one time, and you
Yes.
need differential backup daily
Daily.
and transaction log every 2 minutes.
Every 2 minutes. Yes, it makes sense. Mhm.
So this is job running one time. You create one job and is running, by default.
By default. Okay.
So now, for example, you have 5 transaction, no time is 6:32, right?
Yes.
Okay, what I do, I will delete the database and now we go with the restore. I will delete this database. We have backup, right?
Yes, we have
Delete.
backup.
I will delete. Done. Delete, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
When I need to restore. If you go to the database, right click, you see the restore option
Restore option. Yes.
here. So we need to restore from the device disk, right? We
Okay.
have
Yes.
files on the device, right? So if
Right.
we go to the device where we have backup, we copy the backup in test, right?
Yes.
C drive,
C drive.
backup test, right?
Backup set. Yes.
So I can go to I delete sample, right? Okay, go to the
Yes.
sample, I select backup. Okay. It automatically detect.
Okay.
And it give you a timeline. See here. You can see this. You have till this time backup,
Okay.
This is the full backup. This is the differential backup. You see the symbol? Legends,
Yes.
you have transaction log backup, you have tail log backup. So you can see here. Timeline hour here. You can see the 6 hour like this. Okay. So I need to restore full backup. I don't want to go point in time recovery, right? Click OK. It will
Yes.
restore. You see here, it come.
It's back. Sample DB.
Yeah. It come this one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we cover backup and recovery, and we cover, how to schedule the backup job, and we cover how to restore. Okay. One thing, which I need to tell you, if you are DBA, you want to see the report, your backup report, right?
Right.
If I go in this database, if I go to reports, you see here report? You see report? This is the built-in report. You can see the built-in report you can run and you can view the information. If I go to report, then backup and restore event, It will open report for me. You see here.
Yes.
This we took backup, right?
Yes, we took backup.
It will show you this database you took backup, size was this one, and it's restore here. It's storing there temporary, you know. And
Mhm.
here you can see the restore operation. We restore, right?
Yes, we restore, successful restore operation. Yes.
So you can see the report, any database, right click and you get the report. When backup is happening, how many backup copy we have, when jobs run and all. Okay.
Okay.
And we will also cover, you know, some basic administration, you know, how to see the dashboard as a DBA role, what I need to see, you know, at end of the, you know, the course, we will go through one time. Okay.
Yeah.
So any question? From my side, I finish. I complete today lecture. And
Okay.
tomorrow we will go with the database mirroring and log shipping for disaster recovery. We will
Okay.
see how to do log shipping and how to do the database mirroring. Okay.
Okay.
Any
Yeah,
question,
I
Mark?
will try to practice
Yeah, you have to
because I saw
practice.
you going in some places. I'll try to practice to catch up.
Yeah, you have to go take one database and, you know, create one folder. I will send you assignment, you know.
Okay.
Concept wise, or what I did, it was easy to understand, right?
Yes, it was easy to understand. Yeah. For me, anyway.
Mark is there.
So I have a question, but
Yes,
it's not on. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I had you say something.
Yeah, I said, you know, we completed today lecture and we completed security and backup and recovery. And tomorrow we have disaster recovery, which is the log shipping and database mirroring.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. And, you know, Mark, we completed backup and restore even. And I also show them, you know, how to schedule the job, okay, or how to keep the backup location, how to schedule the job weekly. And, you know, you saw video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we need, we'll prepare. And I think tomorrow. So just the assignment for against tomorrow needs to be very short.
Yeah. I will share the assignment. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I will stop this.
Yeah, please, before you go.
No, before you said something, I will show you. See here,
Okay.
every 2 minutes, it is backup is happening, right?
Yes. Oh, every 2 minutes. Yes, right there.
So I need to stop first. Either my disk will become full. If you go here on the job,
Yeah.
so this is my transaction log job, right? I
Yes.
right click
Yes.
and disable.
Oh.
So now it will not run, right? So you can
Okay. When you disable it, yeah, it does not run. Okay.
disable and enable. If you click on
Okay.
the job, you can see the history of the job, view
Good
history.
job. Yes.
When it run, when it fail, you can see here.
Yes, right here.
You know, this will, because I need to cover this, you know, how to check the log, SQL Server, how to check the dashboard, how to check the system health check and all, we will cover in later stage,
Okay.
you know.
So the job that failed, it was because the database was crashed. When
Yeah,
yes,
we,
because it saw
we,
a failed job somewhere.
we delete database that
Yes,
time.
we deleted the database.
Yeah. Very good catch. Actually, I did not notice, you know.
Well, right here.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was database was deleted. It
Mm-hmm.
started, but it did not find the database source.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me question you were asking.
No, the question was, I just wanted you, if you don't mind, to show me. I was creating the database the other day because you said to put the data file location and the log file location in different directory.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was unable to do it. I try, and I was like, I'm just going to ask one of you, either you or Mark, so that I can go back again today and
Okay.
try it.
Can you share screen so I can see now?
Yes, I cannot share the. It's
I will.
disabled.
No. I will. I'm just making. Linde, right, Linde?
Yeah, Lady. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. You can share now.
Okay. Thank you. So I was just playing, created some type of
Create one database.
okay.
Right click on new database. Put the database name.
Okay.
Yeah. Change the path file. Go up. Go the end.
So I go to here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The
I
path.
try to
Yeah. Go to the first one. First is the data file.
yes.
Yeah. Choose the path where you want to keep.
Yes, I wanted to put it in the C drive.
Yeah. Go up. Go up.
Come okay, cancel.
No.
Okay.
No. Go to there.
Oh, stay there. Okay.
Yeah.
Go
Scroll up.
up.
C drive.
C drive.
Click on
Okay.
C drive. No, click on C drive. C drive. Yeah.
Okay.
Where you want to. My data. Go down. No, go down. There is a folder, right?
Oh yes, this is the folder. Oh, it's
Yeah.
right there. Yes.
Just click on the folder. Folder.
Okay. So now I see.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So that's
Then,
what I was having
yeah.
trouble doing. And I was like, there's something wrong somewhere.
No.
Okay, I got it. Now I understand the concept. And then press OK.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes. I okay. That was my only concern. So now I know how to do it.
Okay. Okay then.
Okay, let me make you the
Anything,
Scrum
Mark?
Master.
Yes, Hayat.
Okay, we done. So inshallah, see you tomorrow. Then.
Yeah, tomorrow. Everything okay with everybody?
Yes, yes. I have
Okay.
having an issue, but he helped me fix it, so I'm good.
Okay,
I will
that's cool.
practice some more. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Everything okay?
Kind of.
Okay, Lizzie is there to help you. Just hook up with Lizzie in the background. She will help you.
No
Okay.
problem. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.